Hello my friend, welcome back to the Ascended Spiritual Warrior. Today's OBE is a short one and comes from a man who met his deceased father after making a difficult decision to end his father's life support. This is great for anyone who has struggled with end-of-life decisions for a loved one. If this is your first time on our channel, welcome. I appreciate you being here. These videos are meant to build faith in a world that seems to be faithless and to prove that there is life on the other side. If you enjoy these videos, then please click the like, subscribe and bell icon so you'll get notified of any new out-of-body experience and near-death stories we upload. For our returning viewers, you know what to do. Grab a beverage, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's story. I experienced a near-death experience in February 2009. Let me start by informing you that I am diabetic, I have psoriasis, and my overall general health is a bit below par. My fault mostly, as I am not diligently monitoring blood sugar levels or going to the doctor. I was visiting my mother, who had just come out of hip surgery, when I began feeling sharp pangs in my abdominal area, lower back region. The pains became severe, so I left the hospital for my mother's house where I was staying. By the time I arrived, the pangs were very intense, and as a result, I called an ambulance. On arrival at the hospital, I had become unconscious. My kidneys then shut down and I went into cardiac arrest. I found myself sitting Indian style at the bottom of a beautiful tropical lagoon. The water was beautiful, crystal clear turquoise type of color. The sand was pure and bright white and the visibility seemed infinite. There were numerous tropical fish swimming all around that were so vivid in color. It seemed as if they were plunged into an electrical outlet and covered in neon lights, difficult to actually describe. I had never seen anything like this before. There was no plant life or coral rocks or reefs, just white sand, beautiful water, the fish and myself. I remember thinking, well, this is kind of weird. And how am I breathing underwater on my own? Also, where am I? How did I get here? Then something above caught my eye. I looked up and could see the surface of water about 10 feet above me, and beyond that, a ball of light that was very bright and descending in my direction. I watched, and as it broke the water's surface, it dispersed and engulfed the lagoon and beyond. Thinking it was blinding, but not sure if it was an instinctive reaction or not, because I do not recall being blinded or even sensitive to any of the brightness during the entire experience. I looked downward at the ocean floor. Suddenly, a wooden post impaled itself into the sand about 3 or 4 feet away at somewhat of an angle, a post similar, I am guessing, to the type Jesus may have been crucified upon. However, there was no cross-section, just a post. I began to look up, and as I did, I saw a pair of feet in sandals and a pair of incredibly pure, bright white pants, also appearing to be neon, for lack of a more accurate description. As I continued further upward, I was totally amazed to find that it was my deceased father who had passed 2 years earlier. He had been diagnosed with a golf ball-sized brain tumor in the center of his brainstem that was inoperable. 2 weeks after the diagnosis, it began to bleed and he fell whilst walking out of a restaurant and was transported via ambulance to the nearest hospital. There were no living will or do not resuscitate instructions, so we did not know how to proceed. All we knew was that our father was a good man and lived an exceptional life. He had treated us and those around him well, and did not deserve to suffer a prolonged life as a vegetable, nor would he want to. We chose intravenous plant relief and oxygen with no feeding tube to make him pain-free and as comfortable as possible on his way out. 3 different opinions were all describing the same ending. He would not live through surgery, and if by some miracle he did, he would be a vegetable. He passed away 3 days later, somewhat peacefully. His heart just stopped, racing faster in the end. In an effort to increase oxygen levels, it just got tired and quit. It was not an easy choice for us. When I realized it was my father, I realized that I had left life as I knew it, and somehow, I do not recall the journey, had come to this place of beauty and total tranquility. I don't know if it has anything to do with it or not, but we had buried my father at sea, having spread his ashes out of Newport Beach. My first reaction was to say, "We didn't know what to do, Dad. I'm sorry." He just smiled down at me and said, "It's okay, son. You did just fine. I am in a good place. It's wonderful beyond your imagination. It was my time." He looked so perfect and so at peace. I can't really describe how awesome, calm, and perfect he looked. When he passed, he was 73 years old with a grey beard and a mustache. As he appeared before me, he was much younger, in his prime with thick, wavy, bright deep red hair, as he had when he was younger, only much more vivid and intense. Any imperfection or flaw he had was sculptured, chiseled away to a smooth perfection. He looked perfect, beautiful, and consumed with peace and joy and overflowing with understanding and love. I could go on and on. We visited for what seemed like hours, but afterwards, I discovered I had only been without a heartbeat for 1 minute and 14 seconds. We laughed and hugged and cried, and everything worked. No freezing of limbs, no inability to move. And then he hopped down off his post onto the ocean floor and started to walk away. I jumped up and said, "Dad, hey, wait a minute," and began to follow him, and it was at that moment he stopped, turned around and smiled his huge, heartwarming and indescribable smile and said, "No, son, you've gotta go back. They're fixing you. It's not your time." Then he reached out and touched my shoulder, and I don't know how to describe what it felt like, but I believe upon him touching me, he placed my life back in me, and I woke up in an hospital back to life as I knew it. I had suffered a blocked intestine, blood poisoning, kidney failure, and a cardiac arrest, which took me to my near-death experience. When I awoke, I aspirated my lungs and passed back out. I woke up 3 days later with tubes coming out everywhere, going who knew where, but I would do it all over again and again just to see my pup and know that something absolutely incredible awaits us upon our departure from this human life. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I know this. Wherever my father went is an awesome and a wonderful place, because he never looked so good and never looked so at peace and so complete. I really cannot find the right words to do justice in relating this whole experience. I believe without doubt it was real, like nothing I had ever experienced before, not even close. I don't think I gained any special powers, nor do I have any more answers to the mysteries of the world. I do not know the future except that death is not an end, but a beautiful and bountiful beginning.